So, Dr. Bair, let me ask you a little bit about your military background. I understand that you were deployed for World War II, and tell me a little bit about your military background. That's very interesting to me. You're a veteran, and thank you for your service.
I was in college when the war broke out, and I had been taking flight lessons, so I thought I'd go right into the Air Corps. But instead of putting me in the Air Corps when I went in, they put me in the Anti-Air Corps. So instead of flying planes, I was shooting them down. And things were kind of rough at the time.
So you had the pilot's license, which was pretty unusual in the 1940s to have a pilot's license, right? That was...
Yes. Mm-hmm. I took a course in college, had all the acrobatics and everything.
Wow. So how much training did you have before you flew a plane? Was it kind of read a few books and send you on your down the runway?
No. They had good instructors. Mm-hmm. It was a government program.
So how did you afford to go to college and learn to fly a plane? You told me you grew up in New Jersey on the poor side of the river. Did you make your own funds to do this, or how did you make it happen?
Well, I got a scholarship and worked my butt off.
Worked real hard while you were in college, too.
3 jobs. One to pay the tuition, one to pay my board, one to pay my room.
And no funds for entertainment in between, just...
No, not a penny.
Sounds like people were much more disciplined back when you were growing up than they are now.
Well, I don't know about that, but...
I do.
I wanted an education, and I was going to get it.
You certainly did. So you went to school, you became a doctor. I don't know your whole background. Tell me a little bit about, you went to school to be a doctor or a physician?
Yes.
How many years of schooling did that require back in that time?
Well, 4 years of high school, 4 years of college, and 4 years of medical school, and then an internship, and after the internship, 4 or 5 years of a residency.
So quite involved even that long ago.
It was.
So how did you enjoy being a doctor? You must have helped a lot of people out along the way.
Yes, I enjoyed it very much. And it was kind of a thrill if you called in that somebody was injured, and you could put them back together again, or they were sick and you could make them well. It made you feel very good.
Did you have a motto that you live by?
Oh, if you can't cut it out, it ain't worth having.
Words to live by as a doctor. What year did you first practice as a doctor? Was that before you moved to Wellsboro or after?
I finished my residency in surgery in 1955, I guess it was. And that's when I came to Wellsboro then after that.
And then you worked in Wellsboro, so your first job as a doctor was in Wellsboro?
Yes.
And what was it like being a doctor in Wellsboro then in the 1950s? Did you make house calls then?
I didn't, but the general practitioners did. I was a general surgeon.
I guess you wouldn't go to someone's house for surgery. That'd be a bit extreme. But the regular family doctors were going to see the patients at their houses then. And where was the hospital then? Was it where it is now?
Yes.
It was much, much smaller though then, obviously.
Yes, it was.
When you were doing surgery back then, how did things change? What was it like back then? I mean, imagine it was less equipment, less electronics. You were probably nothing plugged in the first days.
Yeah.
How long did you practice for in Wellsboro? When was your...
In Wellsboro,
when did you retire?
I came to Wellsboro in 55 and spent the rest of my career. Mm-hmm. 1987.
1987. So what have you been doing with your time since then?
Goofing off.
You done any traveling?
Yes. We did some traveling when my wife was alive.
How old were you when you took your first faraway trip? As a kid, it doesn't sound like you went, like when was the first time you went to another country or to Florida or for a vacation? Was that something you did when you were young? I assume your family didn't travel all that much.
No, we didn't. My dad never owned a car.
Your dad never owned a car? Wow. So did you ride in a horse and buggy ever?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Did. My grandparents had a horse and buggy.
So the first time that you traveled was your honeymoon?
Any extent, I guess.
Do you remember where you went for your honeymoon?
Went to Williamsburg and then to Canada, Quebec. I had a brother-in-law graduating from college and a sister graduating from high school. So we had to break up our vacation, and the first part of our vacation was before either one of them graduated. And so we went to Williamsburg, and then after they both graduated, we went to Quebec.
Very nice. It sounds like you've had a really interesting life and experienced a lot in your life. And any thoughts you want to share?
Life has been good to me, and I'm very thankful for all the opportunities I had for both travel and education.
Well, Dr. Bair, I appreciate you sharing your story with us here on KC 101 and with everyone else. And you've lived a wonderful life. I admire you. Thank you for your time.
Yes, you're very welcome.